All right, everybody out there, good evening. We are excited to be with you. It is an honor to be here with my buddy right over here this side, Devore from the Tennis House, who has now over 300,000 subscribers on Instagram. Make sure you check him out. And then below me is an absolute living legend, Emilio Sanchez. I grew up watching you. That was the era when I was a junior and really super into tennis. So, I mean, Emilio, I've watched you so many times, and you know, you played all the greats. You played McEnroe, you played Connors, you played Becker, you played Lendl. You know, you have wins almost against all those guys too. And 6 in the world, 3-time Grand Slam champion in doubles. And then you got into coaching and started to give back to the game after you retired. And that's what we're going to talk tonight about, like the Spanish secrets. Emilio started to teach, like, hey, there are certain footwork patterns that are very effective, and it matches up with patterns of play, which you start to get into. And you've trained all kinds of amazing players that everybody knows, Andy Murray being maybe most notable, and Grigor Dimitrov, and Martina, I hear, trained with you. Martina Navratilova actually came later in the career. You trained some doubles with her. So many players, Hachikova. The cool thing about Emilio and coaching is it literally is too many to name all, to where you guys be like, oh my gosh, like there's so many. So I'm not going to go through all of them. But I mean, so much respect has been given to Emilio with coaching, if you guys don't know. And he gave so many USPTA talks and showing, look, this is the way, guys, if you want to develop a player and build them from the ground up and have them move the correct way and pick the right shots depending on what area of the court they're on. Emilio's had a huge influence, and you can see it in today's game. And it's, I think it's kind of apropos that tonight we're interviewing Emilio, and the Spanish tradition continues with Carlos Alcaraz winning today. And you even said that you know Ferrero quite well, and he was younger than you, so he did a little bit of training with you. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we rewind in time. Yeah, and Juan Carlos was a special kid that had his coach Antonio Cascales, which they were very hard workers, and they came a lot of times to train with us in Barcelona, and to see the model that we had during all the years about traveling more than individually, traveling more in a small group, and he was already super determined. I remember playing him, and he was very shy, but also he was cocky, and you knew that he kind of like most of the players that at that level they have this two phase, where Murray was the same, and so they are young and they want to eat the world, they're dreaming to become the best. And then you go on the court, and there is some fire inside them that you can see that they're gonna be different and they're gonna make it. And he was the first one, I think, the first one who make it outside from the structure of the federation in Spain. So he decided to stay in Valencia. He decided to don't go to the federation and go by himself. Then there were other cases like Rafa or other people later on that they didn't go through the national structure. But he had always something that we could say that says everything, is that he was like living tennis. So he was we say in Spanish, he's a tenista, a tennis player, like he breakfast tennis, lunch tennis, dinner tennis, tennis at home, and he's like he studies tennis, kind of like your public and doubles and like all the adults here in the US, that they are completely in love with tennis, and they become like kind of like a tenistas, no? And they want to become the best that they can become. And I think that the way we work has been very important part from this tenista, because we created all these different drills and ways of movement that you can play either on defense, you can play on counter attack, and you can play on attack with a very good movement to be very precise to do any kind of techniques.
That sounds good.
Any kind of technique well, you can do many more things.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And so do you hear that, guys? He gave you a nice compliment. He called you a tennis fanista. Is that what you said? How,
Tenista.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
tenistas,
so
yeah. He's like
yeah,
a
and
tennis player, yeah.
tennis
But in
fanatic.
capital letters, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And Emilio, you
Mm.
know, you're going to enjoy working with our group because that's why I call them totally obsessed tennis players. And you know,
Mm.
I've worked with a lot of juniors in my day, and I will say that the adults who come, travel, and want to learn, I mean, they remind me of like my absolute best kids I've ever worked with. I mean,
Of
they're
course.
hungry. They'll run through a wall for you, and
Mm.
that's why I want to do the Spanish Secrets Camp. In that a lot of the stuff that the adults kind of feel gypped out of, like, oh, well, why are they showing all the juniors all this stuff? That the coaches will just have me, you know, hit a couple balls or run back in line and give me like little general feedbacks. They're not teaching me the great stuff. And you know, that's what we want to share, is these secrets that you have amassed over the years that have produced so many great champions. And so we're excited for this. And I just want to acknowledge people who have here. Peter says he's looking forward to tonight's call. We have Pamela, who is from Florida. So guys, keep checking in. I'm also going to put the link in the chat if you want to come. So if you don't know about this, we're going to be doing a Spanish Secrets camp in Naples, November 14th through the 16th, for 12 totally obsessed tennis players. We have about half a dozen spots left, and Emilio is going to be taking you through the paces on footwork patterns, shot selections based on where you're on the court. We'll be doing singles and doubles strategy, and we're going to treat you guys like you are juniors who want to become better, but we'll also make it appropriate for the adults. So, Devor, I want to bring you in for a second. First of all,
Yeah.
how did you start working with Emilio, and tell us a little bit about the academy down there?
Yeah, so Emilio and I know each other now probably around a decade. I met Emilio in Mississippi the first time at a convention, and yeah, it clicked. I always admired him. You know, as you mentioned earlier, yeah, he was one of the most passionate coaches I've ever met. He goes to all the conventions still. He spreads the love for the game. He sends the message to kids, adults, to all levels, and he never stops. So he's at our academy. So when I say our academy now, I'm since 3 months working for Emilio. I was before director in Louisiana, and you know, I always joked with Emilio. I always told him one day I will work for you, and you know, and before I went to the academy, I was thinking to do those amazing camps already anyway. And then when I talked to Emilio, I was like, why don't we do it at the academy? Why don't we do it like, you know, special? And why don't we, you know, give everything you have to the people out there, and that they know that the academy is not just for junior kids, that the academy as well, we have 38 highly maintained perfect courts at the academy, that adults, we want the adults there as well, you know. And then I think it's a big factor, you know, that the adults know that, and that we have the perfect destination with Naples. The facility is top notch. It's beautiful, maintained. I fell in love the first time when I came here. It's one of the nicest places. And Naples, you know, to do a trip to Naples, you cannot beat that, because uh, I've never seen a city. I mean, everything is beautiful here, you know. So I'm very, very happy. So yeah, so 3 months ago, coming to the academy, you know, when you're new, you don't know so many people. So it was, you know, at the beginning, you have to get to know the whole staff, and I knew that from before. And what struck me before was as well that everything is like a family here, and Emilio treats every person the same. So there's no, you know, no matter what you do, you contribute to the academy. If you clean the condos for the kids, the you know, Nirma and the crew and everyone who's involved, they do that with passion and love. You see that when they cook for the kids, and I say kids now, for the adults as well. We have adults coming in now a lot as well. So everything is top notch and healthy. We have great food here. You know, what was one of the first things my wife, my wife eats super healthy. And the first thing she said, like, oh my God, look at this huge salad bar and choice. So the food is amazing. And everyone, Lucas, the director of the academy, and all the coaches. We have Victor, Oscar, every coach that I forgot to. They all are amazing coaches, and Emilio groomed them over the years, with his knowledge. And you can see that when they teach, they show that day in and day out. And the whole academy, compare it. If you look at the IMG, you have that's just like massive. It's a massive place. But when you come here, and that's why I chose as well to be part of the family. And I'm happy Emilio brought me into the family, is because of that family aspect. So when the kids come here and the adults, especially the kids that board and stay the whole year, they have something special because they're treated. There's like 25, 30 kids, and they're treated. Every single one of them has everything they need from everything. So they have. I wished, I told the kids, when I see the kids, always, guys, when you go out there, leave everything out there. You have something so special. You have one of the best fitness coaches team. You have amazing food. You have amazing facility. You have Emilio, who comes every single day on the courts and leaves everything out. He does not have to do it anymore, but he does it. Which other place does that? There's not many, right? So and Emilio's out there, and yeah, and look, it's been amazing. I'm so happy, as I said, that we started with the adult program now besides the kids, that we bring that aspect as well in. And then I'm so glad, Peter, that you're on board on the first event we're gonna do, because as Emilio said earlier about the passion and everything, you are so tennis obsessed, and I see that when you do your camps and all the reviews I see, and to all the people I talk, they all love it because you have that extra the personal side, and you make it always very, very nice, and everyone loves to come back. So I'm glad we do the first one. And yeah, so I'm very excited about it. So, and Emilio, they have nice clothes. You see that? That's new. I like that. Yeah, he gave me so much. I don't even know how to wear all that. It's beautiful. I love it.
That's great. So you guys can see how fired up everybody is, and so you hear how awesome that facility is, and you guys can then come train and see what it's like to be treated like a top junior or a Grand Slam champion. We have Hope, who said, I'm very close. She drove by today, your academy. Then we've got Bill on from here we go, from Southport, North Carolina. And Lynn says, Emilio, I went to your coaches camp in Naples many, many years ago. I'm still coaching part-time in my 70s. That's awesome. So it's good to see all you guys. Also, one thing I want to give this lady a shout out, who just was at my camp today, and she's on tonight. That's what I call totally obsessed. Ross is one of my virtual students working really hard on his serve. So you guys are awesome. We really love you guys here. So I want to ask you, Emilio, what gave you the idea to say, I want to teach a certain way of movement and hitting? Like, did you just see something that wasn't being taught out there, or were you taught a certain way and you're like, I really need to share what I learned growing up because I just don't see many places doing it? What inspired you to say, I want to start teaching people a certain way of moving and hitting?
Well, I was lucky enough to have a great coach that put together different things that he saw on the tour during the 60s when he was playing, and 70s. He worked a lot with the Australians. Also, he had inspiration from the Czechs, and as well from other people like the French. So he put together what he realized that he was study a lot. What he thought that was in the time was more important to do. He trained Nastasi and Higueras and then all the Spanish guys until he got to me. And then with my explosion arriving to the top in the wall, so he also teaches so many of the coaches in Spain. So almost everybody passed through his things that he was doing at the time. And he was like a pioneer at the time about how to teach. So when I started to to be going down, I thought what I want to do. So, and in Spain we had a big problem of combining the tennis with the studies and traveling. I saw what happened and do high school. So I said we have to implement that in Spain, and then I find this facility that was amazing, and then I convinced many of my friends like Sergio Casal, Angel Jimenez, Aguilera, so to get together because they were all spread out in different places, and we needed to create a team, really strong team. So we started to do the academy, and then we decided to do the education, which was a very important pillar from it. But I realized that in that moment tennis was evolving. So what we initially start to teach the people, so was something that was really good, and is the base from our philosophy and our 360-degree system. But we increase it in a way to be adapting to the new era, no? And if you see, and so now we do 3 levels of coaching. Everybody who comes to train has to go through the coaching courses, and we try that everybody who teaches goes in and understands and has the same type of language. But even, like the technical and system language, it doesn't make the best coach, because as you know, the best coach is the one who arrives to the person and is the one that has a different type of voices to arrive to people and to convince people. Because many times, for me, the best players that I work are the ones that they have the mindset to always learn and always improve. And you find a lot of difficulties many times in young players, in semi-pros, in pros, that they get, and a lot with adults. We'll go after to adults, but for me, they go and they don't have this mindset of they can do more new things. And tennis is such an incredible sport that you always can do better things. And me as a player with my coach started to play from the back, backhand, forehand, and nothing else. And I was only be able to play on very slow clay. And then slowly I start to get better, go inside the court, start to do the slides, start to arrive to the net, go and serve better. So I make a big progress as a player from my first years to the last years. I was a completely different player. So I knew that the evolution was incredible, no? And also the way that I was taught, my friends and my other players who were with me, they also improved their own way with different styles, because many people confuses that when you do something, you're gonna play that way, and that is not true. So any system has allowed any style of game, any pattern of game, no? And if we going back to the match from today, we had an incredible match in Paris between Carlos and Yannick, a lottery in the last minute, 10 whatever in the tiebreak at the end. So incredible 5-setter. And then in grass, Yannick made some changes, served extremely well, much more aggressive, use the court more to finish more the points. But then after Wimbledon, because Carlitos wants to always be improving, he's been working so much on the serve and on the forehand. So he came out today, he made 10 aces, Yannick made 2. He came out, he was about 60% first serves, Yannick was 48, whatever. On the returns, he had like 11 chances to break, and Yannick had 1. So he dominated him, even if it was a 4-setter. Probably Yannick had some issue with the serve, because in the semifinals he had some problems on the abdominal or something. So he was not 100%. But Carlitos outplayed him in the strengths from Yannick, because he worked on it. He served better. From the 60 whatever percent, he win 80% of the serves. From the 54% of the second serves, he won more points also on the second serve. So he serves better in both serves, when Yannick normally serves better than him. He was much better on the forehand. Maybe the backhand, they were about similar. So at the end, you put that together. Why he did that? Because he wanted to improve.
Yes.
He wanted to be competitive. So these people who has to come, even if they play very well and they play out of hours, they have to come and put the best of improvement. because they're gonna do things that they're not gonna feel well. And you know, tennis, how difficult it is, that you need to create a habit. You need so many repetitions and so many lessons to do the same thing until you start to really feel it, you know. So I think that that's key in any level. To make steps ahead is to have the improvement mindset.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting that you said that. I actually texted a friend as Carlos was getting ready to finish the match. I'm like, is it just me, or is Carlos serving out of his mind? And you nailed it. And the serve percentage is much higher. Because I've watched Carlos a lot, and sometimes I go, man, he misses a lot of first serves, you know, like, and now it seems like he's just gotten that rhythm, and he's getting, you know, the ball over the net, and he's snapping at the right time, and those balls are going in. And you're right, it was such a big difference.
He had to correct the posture. He's a bit more sideways. He's making it shorter. He's much more loose on the throw. His left arm is so much more higher. So then he goes over because he was tending to let the left hand go so fast. Now he's holding it a bit more until he falls. So he's slapping it much harder. And I'm sure 100% that the other one had some issue with he couldn't go 100% with the serve. He didn't serve one serve over 115 or something. He normally serves 125, 130. So, but he beat Ali Asim that way because he hurt in the first set. So he still managed to win. So, but between them two, one that has a bit an issue, and then the other one is gonna step on top of him. And Carlos, I think that with the serve he gave only one breakpoint, and he got broken in the second set. That's it.
Well, I just got some exciting things. I just saw that we just had 2 more applications come in, guys. So I'm putting the link in the description. We're taking a total of 12. We already have about half a dozen signed up. So if you're watching this and getting excited about it, then, you know, make sure that you apply, and we'll get on the phone with you, make sure everything's right, talk about your level, talk about your goals, and make sure that you have a great time with us. So if you could maybe sum up the Spanish method that you've come up with, the footwork, patterns, everything you come up with, what would be like 2 or 3 pillars of it, or ideas? Like what's the foundation of what you want people to understand quickly about the way you teach and the results you're trying to get them out there on the court?
Yeah, lately in tennis has been improved or increased so much the speed. You see today how is the speed of the serve, how is the speed of the returns, and the second, third shot. They were saying yesterday forehands, backhands hitting at 80, 89 miles, 90 miles forehands. Even Anisimova played some backhands 87 miles per hour, which is ridiculous. You know, the speed of the shot. So how and how that affects the tennis, this speed. You know, that the people tends to play a lot on the back foot and very far. So and almost when they have time, they go a bit sideways, but most of the times they go almost front. So they just don't receive enough well the ball. So, and for me the key in tennis is the ball. So to see the ball. So to see the ball and to anticipate. When you anticipate what the other one is gonna do, and then you have more time from the moment that the other one hits the ball until the ball bounces, until you can hit it wherever you want. And I try to make it very simple, so you can back up to do a defense, you can go sideways to do a counter, or you can step in to do an attack. The best players in the world, these 2 guys today, what they did the best, both of them, was stepping to the ball. And the people don't train anymore stepping to the ball. They tend to train a lot of rotations. They tend to train a lot of movement, especially with the legs. And so for me, the ball is very important. The legs are key to be able to do those 3 movements. And then it's about the dissociation from the upper body to the lower body. You can rotate, but you have to dissociate like they do. And then you can do the shots that you want to do. And I've been working a lot all the time towards trying to understand, to step to the ball. So in our time was much easier because we didn't play as hard. So you attack me, you move in, and then you throw, and then I move in, and then you move in. So we were all the time moving in to see at the end who makes the opening. Today, no. Today, it's very few times that you have that possibility, but you have to take it. And look, today, every ball that was kind of like short, not or low, they step in all the way.
Yeah.
And I think that's a thing that we coaches need to give our students many more tools when they go in or when they go out, and that's what I'm a bit obsessed with having time and then seeing the ball to hit it on the proper spot.
Yeah. One thing that I want to ask you about, because I'm excited to hear how you explain it, because I always talk about, learn stuff. You have to do a lot of progressions, and you have to start more in an enclosed environment to where, shadow stroking, hand feeds, making sure you get it right, and then you can open up the court and open up the play. And I think a lot of adult players don't understand that even the pros and high-level players get these hand feeds. And you kind of made that really popular, at least to where you showed a lot of USPTA instructors like, look, this player can return a 112-mile-an-hour ball, but I'm literally feeding him like a baby. Yeah. Tell the people the importance of why you do these hand feeds, even with players who are unbelievable, who all of us can't even get a game, not you guys, but like me and everybody else watching this can't even get a game off of. Why are you feeding them through the hand?
Well, first of all, for me, is because you are able to be close. You are able to be next to him, and you are able to work in something that he's not convinced that you want to improve. Because the pros are also have also issues on sometimes on putting new things on. So if I feed with serves, and then it's going to be very difficult that the player does what I want. If I feed playing with him also, because he's going to go with or she's going to go with her own normal movements, So I think that the first thing with the hand feed is that you are very close. You are able to convince more and to pass this mentality to the person that can improve this. And then you're taking away the speed totally. But and that's the only issue with the hand feed is that the ball is not in movement. So it's kind of like a short movement. But you can play hand feed and make the guy run more than today Sinner against Alcaraz,
Yeah.
So it's a bit a thing that I believe that those repetitions are key to be able to make the player better. So I don't like to work things that you do bad in a wrong way. And when you do something bad, but you are able to work and create the habit correcting what you don't do well, what you don't do bad, what you are doing bad in that moment, because if you can push the guy to the corner and then he can throw whatever and he can kill the ball, but he's not going to learn that way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
You need to repeat because you're going to find the moment and the ball. Like today, for example, at some moment, Carlitos sent in the fourth set, start to slice a bit and he lose a couple points, and suddenly the people talking saying, "Oh, he should not play slice," but then he play fast slice, and then Sinner missed 4 balls. So he lost 2, but so he continued, and then because the ball was low, the other one tried to hit very hard, and then he hit it to the net. He didn't give the shape to the ball. So, and I think having deals are really good also for the coaches who don't have so much craftiness on their racket because they didn't play so much, but they are really good coaches. So that way they can convince more, but they can also put the ball in the right place for the student to play it.
Yeah.
Because I believe that and this I always said in my courses, I said that when we feed and when the player does the exercise, has to do it perfect, because we want to write perfect in our brain. We don't want to do wrong things, because when we play controls or we play from the back or we play points, he's not gonna do what we ask him to do, because I'm gonna be the one that making drop shots, high balls. To don't do it because I don't want to lose.
Okay, so here's, and then I want to bring Devor in after this, and we can talk more about the camp. But I want to ask you this, because I really want to know, when you work with adults, what are the things that you're like, okay, I teach this to high-level juniors, high-level pros, and the adults should also get this? And then what are some of the things you're like, if I instead of teaching the adults this that I would teach a kid or something, I'm not going to do that because that actually would hurt them more than it's going to help them. So I teach them this instead. So what are the things that you bring that you also teach to the juniors? And then what are the things you make unique to where you just teach like adults to help them be successful?
Well, the number one pillar that is the key, is the foundation of our sport, is the technical. So that's why it's so important, and it takes so long to be able to become the player that we want to become. So when we have a good technical coach at the start, it's very helpful, because the motions are going to be good, the progressions are going to be fine. And so many times, many adults, they have not had that coach. Many times, many adults, they learn by themselves, playing with others, with weird grips, with this. And so they have done, they first start, and then when they like it, and I'll go to a coach, but then they cannot change it anymore because they already create the habits. So it's very difficult unless the person is really willing to make a big effort to do a change of a grip, or to do a change of something that a glitch or something that an adult has. So if he's willing to do it and invest 4, 5, 6 months on doing that change, and then you can really work hard on trying to do it. Like if you will do exactly the same with a junior. We have a really nice player here, a girl that for so long, when she arrived, she had this very extreme grip, and she was not able to attack with the forehand. She had an incredible backhand. So she will go there and play some kind of slice, some flat, but she will not make the step. So all the best coaches, we try to convince her. I even myself, let's go and try to do this. But we didn't convince her to try to do it until last year. She went to Indian Wells, to the junior, whatever, category 1. And then she got a 16, 15-year-old big girl from Europe, Eastern country, hitting bombs. And then after she came back from the tournament, she lost badly. And then she came from the tournament and said, now I want to change my forehand. So 6 years later, having the best coaches in the world, no one of us, we convinced her. But then she decided to change, and now she's changing. And now she's playing much better. So it's about the student, that if he has like barriers and don't want to do it, and then there is no chance that we convince them to do it. So what is really good about what we do is that when a player is in that way, if we make them move better, she's gonna, or he is gonna make changes, small changes, to be able to play better. So if you have a weird grip,
we lost him for a second.
Go back to defend, you sideways to counter, step in to hit it high. You raise a bit the hitting point, just like this. Just raise a bit the hitting point of that shot, even with that same grip. That person is gonna feel, oh, I can hit the ball, And tennis is so magical that any style, you take the top 10, they have different forehands, different backhands, different serves. So at the end is you have Fritz playing number 4 in the world with that grip and hitting the balls in front like this, all the ball, and he's super competitive and he's incredible player, So so that's what we have to think. If a player has a lot of difficulties on trying to change something, we just try to go in a way that they do it without thinking that they're doing it. Because if you have a very extreme grip and you hit very low, high, but you make the player, let's try to hit all the balls higher and on top of the net, and then you show him Fritz, and then he starts to do the same, he's going to be able to make a bit of adjustment to be able to hit many more balls on the right spot and improve the shot with that difficult grip, which is something that it came because they didn't have the at the moment when they were 5 or 6 or whatever, they didn't have a coach that said, no, you have to change.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do this, or like my coaches say, no mercy with the serve, no mercy with the gripping the serve, no gripping the serve. So no mercy. So I don't want to see anybody serving with Eastern grip. So have to go continental. So, but you have to be very consistent because you go one time continental, they're gonna serve and then they go like this with the Eastern serve, because they used to play the front.
Yeah.
So, but that's the part of the coaching that we love, that not everybody likes, and sometimes people becomes a bit more relaxed and they let pass things. And when they let pass things, when they come to us, they want to be high performance, and then you have the problem.
Yeah. Well, and maybe it gives a time to bring in Devor here too, because now we can talk about the camp and we can tell more about what we're going to do, because it says, will the camp have technique? And I think the answer is definitely yes. Yeah. Will the camp have footwork? Footwork is technique, guys. It's part of the technique. And will there be videoing? Absolutely. So, Devor, we've talked a little bit about the menu of what we're going to do. So if you could bring us through kind of what we're going to be doing as far as schedule, where people can stay, how you and Emilio and myself are going to be involved throughout the day, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So it all starts on the 14th, and we're gonna have
of November, guys.
November. Yeah, November 14th. We're gonna have a morning session. We're gonna go from 10 to 12, and after the first session is done, we will have lunch at the club, and the lunch gonna be about an hour. And we discussed that, Peter. You brought that up. Like, I think it's the best way to do it, to have an hour, because everyone is going to be eager to go back on the court and try to improve and be with Emilio and with Peter and with me, hopefully. And so we have an hour break there. We eat together. We are all there to answer questions, and it's that part is going to be very good. And then at 1 o'clock we go back on the court till 3. And that gives the players at 3, when we round it up for the day, gives the players enough time, to maybe as well see a little bit from Naples as well. And we have 3 partner hotels, the AC Marriott, and then we have 2 hotels that are a little bit closer to the academy. And so that's the options where we have partnerships with. And when the players had their off time a little bit in the evening, we're gonna go to that AC Marriott, and we're gonna have like a little at the rooftop bar, a little gathering where we're gonna have some drinks, and we're all gonna be there, and that's gonna be hopefully a tennis passion talks all the way there. And so that's ideal, because most of the players might stay in that AC Marriott as well, so they can just if they want to have a drink more, they can just go to bed and they don't have to drive anywhere far. So that's
the AC Marriott is in Fifth Avenue, so it's just in the center of Naples and next to the pier and all that area, the beach, and it's super nice. So it's like a few miles from the academy. But I think for this weekend, I think will be is like the perfect
location. Yeah, and they have everything too, and their services are amazing. So that's a wonderful hotel. And on Saturday, the same agenda, basically, time wise. Obviously we're gonna go, like we said, we're gonna cover all the topics, and so we're gonna have the same agenda. And then in the evening we will go into a nice restaurant together and have our time together as well. But on the on-court portion, we will try to cover strategy, tactics, technique parts. At the academy, we have cameras on almost every single court, which is a big thing. Like we have 38 courts, so there's cameras on the courts, and we can record the segments of the event as well with the cameras. So that's going to be a big plus. So people can go back and look at that. And in terms of most of the people, when we send out the survey, said they want to have small groups, which is very important. for me as a coach as well, when I teach the adults as well, I like to have small groups always, because I feel like when I have 4 players on the court, I can work on everything with those players and they all get the attention, and that's what people want. I don't like so much the coaching where you have like 8, 10 people on the court. You can do it obviously for cardio, if you have like other classes that have a specific topic. But in general, that's why we decided to do only 12 players for our course, for our weekend. So it's very an intimate setting with a lot of learning and a lot of attention. So you have 3 with us. I feel like, I was obviously having Emilio, his eyes on the technique when I'm working alongside him here, and every now and then when I have time and I'm able to watch him working, with the players. We have Tristan McCormick right now here, and then Emilio is working with him. Tristan is what, 480 in the world now, Emilio?
Yeah.
Very good, young, talented player. But Emilio has that gift to spot immediately. Like, you hit 2 balls, and he could write you a paragraph already. That's the thing that I want to learn from him and from the others. Like, he has a gift to see immediately and put those puzzle pieces together, right? And that's what we want as the coaches. I think, Peter, you do an amazing job with the same thing. I think I know what I'm doing, but when I look at Emilio, that's the thing that I'm so happy that the candidates that come get out of it, because he looks at you and he can write you, and that's what we're going to give as well. We're going to give you some homework that you can work on when you go back, and I think that's very important. It's not like you go somewhere and you left there and then you go home and you ask yourself what just happened in the camp. You have the video and you're going to have homework to work on. I think that's very important, and that makes it special.
Yeah. And then Sunday, we're going to do
Yeah.
some match play. Some of you guys already said that you like singles. Some of you said you're going to play doubles. So we're going to have the singles players, do their singles, the doubles play their doubles. So it's the camp is actually for both. And then you even were nice enough to say if people want to stay after, that they could be matched up with people to hit with and use the courts and things like that. Is that right?
Yes, at our academy, I'll make sure we have a big list of adults. So if we know in advance that people want to stay longer at the academy, they can stay and train, and we will take care of them for sure. 100% yes.
Yeah. So exciting. We actually had another 2 people sign up as well. So I'm going to put the link. And if you guys have questions, now is a good time to maybe put some questions down. We'll hang out for a couple more minutes. But yeah, I'm putting the application in again there. It's November 14th through the 16th in Naples, Florida. This is your opportunity to come train at a first-rate academy where top juniors and pros go to train, learn the secrets. Emilio is going to be there treating you like you are. I watched him train an adult, and he didn't take it easy on this guy. So if you guys want to learn, like, okay, how am I going to be treated like serious, and I want to get better, and I don't necessarily need somebody to sugarcoat things, but Emilio was still super nice to the guy. But if you just want to know, okay, what is going on in my game? How do I get to the next level? He's going to do that. He's not going to pull any punches, right? You're going to tell them the truth on what you see, Emilio. Am I right on that?
Yeah, sometimes is some people think that I'm sometimes loud, or like even my wife says, how you can be talking that. I sometimes listen myself in the video and I say, what, that's me. That way. But like I always believe that and when I coach like Davis Cup and so with these kind of players, there are some moments that you really need to change voices, and especially with a player that has empathy and like we learn in Spain, we play a lot of team tennis, so we are used to be coached, so we are very coachable there, and we don't mind telling us the things. You see, Carlitos is the number 1 in the world, and he's looking at his bench all the time, and for approval and for advice. He broke the guy, and he looked at him like saying, "Where I serve." He's gonna win the US Open, and he looked the bench to kind of like asking where I serve,
Mm-hmm.
So that means that he really wants to learn. So, and sometimes like with some students, you have difficulties because you are very far. Also, that with the hand feet being close. So when you are on the other side, you really need to raise the voice for the people to do what you want them to do. So and I think that I don't care. I always tell my coaches, I don't care if we train the number one junior in the world, the number one player in the world, and needs to improve.
Nice.
When we train with whoever, we need to make an impact on them, to make them change the mindset, to be able that they can improve and they can get better, because there is a big space to get better. So I'm going to expect from these 12 people that they come in with this mindset that they want to improve. When we analyze their serve, when we analyze the forehand, which forehands are better, the one attacking, the one defending, the one playing the doubles, why we are not playing the doubles, why we are not opening the core. It's the things that we will talk about, and that they are willing to listen, and they want to try to really implement new things on their games. If there is someone that does everything perfect and beat us, so then we say, well done, no? But normally the people that comes, they always want to learn, and that makes me very happy, because that's what I like, that the people improves.
Great. Somebody asked, what's the total court time? I think it's going to be about 12 hours. And like, if you want more, then you can get more. But, 4 hours for adults, that's a lot. And it's you're going to get a lot of quality over quantity as well, but you're still going to hit a lot of balls. And
we want to arrive on Sunday also, because much more is, like many places, they do these programs more hours. Okay. But I think that the quality with the quantity has to be, and they're gonna be super tired.
Yeah.
So when you work on the legs, you are not used to work on the legs. You're gonna be exhausted. So and we want them to go on Sunday. So they want them to play on Sunday. So one of the people arrives on Sunday and they are devastated because so it's, we don't need to do more hours, and than the ones that they are there. And 4 hours with quality is a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
And there is going to be, after some recovery and some stretching in the gym, and hopefully we can do as well. We do this activity. Hopefully we can include it in the program with the hydro tennis, we call it, in the water, in the pool, that they can be relaxed with the movements and everything. And I think they're going to love it.
Nice.
We're excited. Hope asked the cost of the 3 days is $2,500, which we realize is more than a normal, tennis lesson for most people. But at the same time, if you compare it to a lot of our competitors out there, and the fact that you're getting on the court with all three of us, including Emilio Sanchez, I think it's pretty good. Like, if you've ever come to any other camp, again, you guys know the outfits out there, the pricing. This is pretty good, and we're taking 12 players. Here we go. We'll basically wrap up with this question. Again, I'm going to put the link in one more time. But D. Wilson wants to know, this sounds great. What about drills to get a faster forehand? Everybody always wants more power on their forehands, backhands, all this stuff. And Emilio, what do you think about that? What does it take? To me, the surprise for most students is when they finally hit a ball fast. I ask, how did it feel? They're like, it felt like nothing. It felt great, easy. So explain to people how we will help them hit the ball maybe a little faster or cleaner than they're used to.
Yeah, so I believe that there are a lot of exercises, like, for example, some pros, what we do, even with the hand feed, is that instead of making the ball bounce, you can feed them directly to them, kind of like softball. So you hit the ball and then they can swing it on the air because they have less time. So it's incredible that many players, you throw them the ball bouncing and they hit slower than if you hit them like a baseball and they have to swing the bat. And so the way that many of the players they improve the speed on the hand is with balls that they are on the air. Like all these, you see all these volleys that they play today, that they play on the air, they tend to be much faster than a normal forehand.
So those swing volleys, right?
Yeah. So that's a way to do it. You can do it from close, you can do it from far, and that's a way that the players do. Also depends on the forehand. Of course, there is forehands that they are more kind of like continental, more eastern, more semi. So it depends how is the shot itself, and then there are ways to improve more that type of forehand and that type of speed on the hand. Yeah.
Great. Well, Emilio, I really, really thank you for your time tonight. It's going to be an honor to be on the court with you. So just so you know, guys, I mean, this for me is going to be something in my tennis life that once I get to do it, I get to keep it with me forever. I get to keep these memories forever. It's going to be something I'm going to cherish forever. And, you know, when I've done things like this with people that I really look up to, it stays with you for years. You know, like I got to take a couple lessons with Rick Macy, and you know, my favorite thing that he has a bunch of sayings on his fence, and the one that never leaves me is master boring. I'm like, that's so simple, but it's so genius. So I mean, you know, it's not just going to be a 3-day event for you if you love tennis. It's going to be something that you're just, first of all, just going to have a feeling about for the rest of your life. You're going to have a memory like, wow, that was so awesome. I did that. I'm never going to forget that. And then when you're in practicing, you're going to be thinking, you're going to go, okay, this is the drill that he showed us. You know, when you're playing a match and it's a certain situation and something's going to come up and you're going to draw inspiration. Remember, maybe a little tip on how to play better under pressure. These are all the things that will happen that just don't stay with you for 3 days. And I know as a totally obsessed coach, as you guys are players, I can tell you when I get to do something like this, it does stay with you forever. So remember that when you're signing up. You're not just signing up for 3 days. This is a different type of thing to where it will stick with you for the rest of your life if you love tennis. So, Emilio, I really, really appreciate that you're doing this with us. And everybody out there, have a great night. If you're watching this on the replay, make sure you do apply, because we have a ton of applications to get to that we got to call in the next couple of days here. And basically the first 12 people that we talk to that we have a good feeling about, actually there's only about 6 spots left now. And they say that they're in and they want the link to sign up. And if everything matches up well, then the first 12 that get in. And we're going to keep it at that, because even if we can get more people in there, we want to give you guys the attention. Okay. So when it's 12, it's 12. There won't be 16 or 18 or 20. It's just 12. So hopefully you're one of the 12. And everybody have a good night out there. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you so much. Good night. Thank you.